If there's one thing everyone knows about Obamacare, and there often does seem to be one thing anybody knows about it, it's that it's so long, it's complicated, there are a lot of pages you have to read through. This kind of thing, this is a neat little Washington trick that politicians like to play on you. If they tell you something is too complicated, too boring, too dense, then you leave them alone. You leave them alone to do whatever they want. But it isn't true. It's not even true about Obamacare. And I'm going to prove it to you here. I'm going to explain to you the absolute core part of the bill. The insurance marketplace is atop which everything else in the bill rests. Okay, so here's the first thing you need to know. Obamacare, it's not for everybody. We think there'll be 321 million people in America in 2016. The biggest chunk on that there floating graph, 154 million getting it through their work. No Obamacare for them. Then you've got 46 million people, 46 million seniors who are getting insurance through Medicare. Medicaid is going to get expanded under Obamacare to about 42 million people. 26 million getting insurance from other places. And you've got about 30 million people, unfortunately, who are going to remain uninsured. That leaves you with about 25 million people on these insurance marketplaces. When you hear Obamacare is raising premiums somewhere or it's lowering them in Maryland, we're talking about that 7% of the population. It's not everybody. So what will the exchanges look like? Have you ever shopped for a plane ticket on Expedia or Travelocity or Kayak? You put in where you're going and when you're coming back, and then you get a bunch of different plans to compare. That is basically what the exchanges will look like. And so in California, it's called Covered California. In Washington, it's called WA State Health Finder. But each state, they got their own website. You'll go on it and you'll see a bunch of different plans. Plans that are really generous, plans that are really stingy. And then you'll give them your income. And if you make less than 4 times the poverty line, $46,000 for an individual, $94,000 for a family of 4, you'll get some level of subsidy. Might be a lot if you make very little, might be a little if you make closer to those lines, but you will get a bit of help from the government to make sure the insurance is affordable. So here's the big thing that this changes in the market. Right now, insurers in this individual market where people aren't getting help from a government program or their employers, the way they make money is they keep the very sick or the very old out. They raise prices on them, and in a lot of cases, simply refuse to sell them insurance altogether. That's no longer allowed. The catch here is that some young and healthy people who right now get a better deal because we leave all these older and sicker people out, they're going to see a price increase. That's what we talk about when we talk about this thing called rate shock. We think that'll be about 2 million folks, but about twice that many young people are going to be seeing a better deal. And then there are all these older and sicker people who have been locked out or priced higher in the market, who are all of a sudden going to have what some people call premium joy to compensate. If you talk to the Obama administration, they think this young and healthy group, they think they are the key to the whole thing working. If they're there, if they are brought in to buy insurance, they'll keep premiums low enough and affordable enough that the whole thing can work. If they don't, well, that's another story. And so the subsidies and the individual mandate, they're there in large part to get these young and healthy people to buy insurance in these new marketplaces. And that is what you need to know about the most important part of Obamacare.